All right, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'll turn the music down just a little bit. All right, so the other day we were talking about well, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you like what you see at the end of the video, end of the live. And if you did miss most of the live or whatever, you can always tune into my lives because I do save them on my channel. So make sure you subscribe so you can check those out. Make sure you follow all my socials, my Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, of course, and join my Discord. All that's going to be here. You can check the description below. You can easily follow them all there. And but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be talking about cryptos primarily, and should you buy the dip on them, and I'm going to tell you what my idea of it is and basically what my analysis is on the market, basically just using technicals primarily, meaning I'm just looking at the charts and previous data, seeing what it could potentially do. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. All right, cool. All right, so primarily we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. That's going to be like the main focus because it seems like the market tends to follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin being, I forget what percentage of Bitcoin is of the crypto market, but I believe it's like close to 50%, if not more. So the market tends to follow what Bitcoin does. I believe sometime last year the market cap for Bitcoin was approximately, I think over I think it's like $1.1 trillion or something crazy like that. It was a lot of money in it. And since I think like November, we've been in a bearish market. I can show you guys on the chart. Where's Bitcoin? BTC. All right, so I'm gonna look at so the main thing is, should you buy the dip? Because everyone's seeing the market fall and they're wondering if they should buy now, in hopes of the market turning back up to the top side. So it seems like the whole market is pretty much down. If you look at like the indices and all that stuff, like the Dow, US 30, I don't know if you guys are into stocks, SPX, S&P 500, you got the NASDAQ, like all those things are trending down. Bitcoin trending down, and this has pretty much been happening since it looks like since October was the last bearish push. It kind of started back in April. Here, I'll show you guys here. So on Bitcoin, you'll see that the price started to fall right here in April, and then it recovered, then it broke this high and started to make new highs. And at this point, everyone was thinking it was going to hit 100,000, which probably won't happen for like another two, like in my opinion, maybe like a couple of years. We're going to look at what Bitcoin, they're going to look at the behavior of Bitcoin to see what it does when it does turn bearish, like what happens and what can you expect, how long does it stay there, and all those good things like that. So we're going to go ahead and look at Bitcoin here. So pretty much before, so I can't remember what year Bitcoin came out, but TradingView, the data shows that it pretty much started in 2011. Could have been before then. So you see the market's pretty much flatline, and you see this small push up here. This is like years ago. This back in 2013. Price pushed up, like right here. Let me make this a lot bigger for you guys. So you can see here that price pushed up, like the first bullish run. This is crazy. This is even for this, because it was pretty much flatline before this, and it had a little spike there, return, and then it took off and it went crazy. And so that's pretty much the behavior of cryptos. It's always getting pumped and then it dumps, like, and it seems like the area like where it pretty much was flatline. I can highlight this to show you. Let's see, I gotta change this, sorry. There we go, opacity. I was like, why can't isn't that highlighting? All right, cool, that'll work. All right, so you pretty much see before these big bullish runs like that, it's pretty much flatlined a bit before it happens. And it seems like almost every time that price tends to return to this area before it goes on its next run. So some people look at this as supply and demand, basically just buying low, selling high, and this is like pretty much like one of the cheapest prices that you can get price at. And usually if price starts to go below this area is when I will get concerned. But for the most part, it usually returns to this area and then it takes off again, no matter, depends on how long that could take. So this bullish run here in 2013, it pushed up and then it started to fall off. And as you can see, the fall off happened, it went into the next year, and then it continued on pretty much all of that year and like around the start of the next year. So 2 years later, almost, or like a year and a half more likely, that's when the market decided to push back up. So it was bearish for pretty much almost 2 years after it made this huge push. But in this area, it pretty much returned back to this area. I'll show you guys, draw a straight line so it's easier to see. Like price pretty much returned to this area. Sorry, I came from day trading. I did a lot of day trading, so I got pretty good at reading the charts and trading this way. So but I'll show you guys. You can take this as my opinion or whatever. Don't take it as fact. So make sure you do your own research, and if you do plan to invest in anything, do that at your own discretion. I'm not a financial advisor. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back into it. So as you can see, price started to return to this area, then it took off again. And so now we're on our next huge bullish run, which pretty much happened for a few years. Price just pushed up and up and up and up. And then it made this crazy high right here back in 2017. It went up to almost 20,000. So this is pretty much like the same thing that happened here before. You got this flat line area, price goes up like crazy, and then it falls off. Thankfully, it looks like price didn't come back to this flat area here. So this is not necessarily a flat line at this point. It's kind of a consistent curve, and then it gets like a lot more momentum, and then it pushes up, and then it falls off, and it pretty much nearly retraces almost 100%. Retracement is basically just price reversing back from what it did. So you get like this tool called the Fibonacci retracement tool. It just basically shows you percentages of the retracement, 100% being a total retracement. And that's what's kind of happens. It's pretty close to, it's in between, you could say roughly this 78% and this 100% area, like almost every single time after you get like a huge push like this. I can go back to this part and show you guys what I mean. Just throwing that Fibonacci on there. My day traders know all about that tool, maybe some stock guys. Right there. And price pretty much returned back to this area. Doesn't necessarily have to be a flat line every time, but that's a good way to look at cryptos usually when they're starting up. I'll show you why I mentioned the flat line area. So price pushes up, gets that huge momentum. You just pretty much draw it from like the last swing low to the swing high, then at the peak once it falls down. So price pretty much retraced most of the part, and then it took a couple years for it to recover, and then finally do the same thing again, which is where we are now. So price is pushing up again, and then it retraced quite a bit, but it's a possibility that so this is kind of what happened here. It made this little peak, and then it returned, and then after that it didn't break this low here. So it's a potential. I would be really bearish on this if it starts to break this low and it continues on in this direction. So same thing with the retracement. Like, this is why I would be hesitant to buy if you are looking to buy right now. This is just my opinion, because as we've seen before price went on its next huge bullish run, it likes to return like almost to that 78%, like 100% area. There's some people that did the calculations on it all, showing that like after Bitcoin makes its huge bullish runs, that it retraces like a good percentage of the profits or whatever, or the amount of money that it went up. It'll retrace most of that, and then it'll take years before it recovers, and then it'll go break new highs, new records, and all this stuff. So same thing could happen here. We can see price continue to fall as it's doing now. Everyone sees this area as a support. I myself hopes that I don't want to see the market be bearish for the next few years, or at least for the next year or so. So I'm hoping to see price return somewhere off this area, and then maybe continue to make new highs, or maybe just kind of play around in this area, consolidate. So what I'm hoping to see is that, but it's a possibility that price can do what it's done many times. Like even here, let me clean up this chart. Sorry, I'm like all over the place right now. Even this swing here, you could draw a Fibonacci from the bottom, draw it to the top, and you can see price went up, came back down into this zone that I'm pretty much talking about. although it made these small areas of support, this is pretty much where we are right now, but in the future, this area here. So we're hoping that price bounces off of this area, but it went and broke these lows and returned back to this little flat line area that I was talking about. So the market moves in patterns. I can't tell you why it does this, but this is pretty much what technical analysis is, just finding these patterns and then just using them to your advantage. So many people, this could be a bull trap. People are looking to buy here, take this up to the long side, up to that 100K everyone's been talking about. That is very possible that it can do that. It can pivot at any point that it wants to. But we got to also be realistic, going based off what we've seen in past data, that price can come return back all the way down here, which would be pretty rough if it did return to that area. But I think realistically, it may not get all the way to this zone. I can see it coming about here. But between the 61% and the 78, I can see it getting there before it continues back to the upside. But realistically, going off of what we've seen, the market is falling right now, so there will be no hope in me buying this and expecting it to just like pivot where I buy it from. I have to be real with myself and realize that price can continue to fall. But don't get me wrong, these are great prices to be buying in right now. This is pretty much a 50% like retracement almost on this last move that it did, this last swing low. So it's definitely a good point to get in and buy. Market could very well continue bullish, but at this point, I would be bearish on it until it proves me otherwise, until it starts to maybe break some highs up here, or and especially if it doesn't break this low. So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to Bitcoin and the whole crypto market. And I can show you guys kind of like what's going on with Ethereum and Dogecoin. Not Ethereum. Ethereum pretty much would be like the mirror thing of Bitcoin. Here, this is Ethereum and this is Bitcoin. Ethereum follows Bitcoin to almost to a T. So all right, let's look at Dogecoin. So a lot of cryptos, they kind of work like this. They'll just be flatline, and then they'll retrace, and then they'll return to those flatlined areas, and then it may sit there for a year plus, depending on the crypto, before it goes and continue to make another bullish run. So you can see it happen many places. So flatlined area, got this push up, and then back down. And let me change the color of that, so it'll be a little easier to see. There we go. All right, cool. So you got this push up and this retracement pretty much back to the flat line area. You get this bigger push up. Where is it? And then price returns. It kind of plays around before it completely falls back down, but eventually over time it gets back down there. Let me close that out. It's a little messy. And let's see what happened here. So this is pretty much where we are with Dogecoin and everything now. So will we see the same thing happen? This will pretty much be it returning to zero, which I wouldn't like to see. No one really wants to see that. That would pretty much make everyone lose hope of these things if it completely sells off like that. But we have to be realistic. That's just the behavior of these cryptos. They had kind of worked their way up, but on their way up, they're going to retrace heavily before they go and break new highs. So we're almost at that ground level with Dogecoin, and this is a pretty deep retracement to the downside. So either way, it's a good pricing to get in, like, because the floor is pretty much here. Price has never been below this point. So, and you're like 50% between that and the lowest low and the highest ever made. So it's a good point to be getting in the market. In my opinion, that's what I would do. And you have to, and if you are holding it long term, you have to realize that you might be in drawdown for the next year, maybe, or two. So just keep buying on the way down in hopes that it may return, but only buy and hold assets that you believe will actually pan out long term. And I personally don't recommend doing that with Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, because these are, like, well, Dogecoin's been around for a few years, but the popularity and all the money that's been put into it literally happened within the last year or so. So it's kind of hard for me to believe in this long term, especially when it's done nothing all these years. A lot of projects start out like that, where they're pretty much flatlined, then they'll get some life later on. But it's a possibility that this can honestly return to zero and stay there. Same thing with Shiba. When they first came out, they didn't really serve a purpose. These meme coins, they just people pump them, dump them, make their profits, get out, and then what we see happen with a lot of these cryptos, the developers, they will then start to add features and stuff on the whole crypto side of the market, like creating an exchange. I don't know, like some of them donate to charities, all these cool projects that a lot of them have. But so it may have some actual functionality now, but in all reality, there's so many meme coins that can be pumped and dumped like this. This isn't appealing to the everyday person until it gets back to these low prices, so someone can 10x their money or 100x depending on when they get in, that everyone loves about these cryptos. So I would be very hesitant getting in on Shiba Inu and Dogecoin simply because they're meme coins and they can die off and to never return again. But Dogecoin might be here to stay, depending on if Elon Musk really starts to let people buy their Teslas with their cryptos and everything like that. So that would be a pretty cool thing to see. Turn that down. So that'd be a pretty cool thing to see. That will give me hope that it can stay around long term. But that's pretty much my idea on what the market is going to do. Bitcoin, I think, is here to stay. Ethereum is here to stay. Ethereum could potentially take out Bitcoin. A lot of people is thinking, but it's going to take a lot of money for it to do that, because currently the market cap for Ethereum is at 281 billion when Bitcoin is at 677 billion. It's gaining on it, but we'll see. It's definitely a possibility, but it will take years before it gets to that point, unless Bitcoin just sells off heavily. But in the meantime, this is a good time to be buying many assets. I'm buying in on a lot of many altcoins. Like there's a baby Dogecoin, a baby Shiba Inu. Basically, people are hoping the same thing is going to happen with them. People are pumping it, hoping in 10x, 100x the money, depending on where they got in. But the whole crypto market is down. You could go on coinmarketcap.com and see, like, for the last 7 days or even the last 24 hours, it's almost completely red, when things are retracing like 25%, 34%. Like, this will be horrible in the stock market, but this is complete normal behavior in the crypto market. So, like, buying into these areas, you got to realize that it can continue to fall, and you have to be willing to hold it if you do believe in the asset. Same with stocks and everything. When the market falls, that's the time to buy. So buy the dip. In my opinion, yes, not financial advice, but I say buy the dip, because if you're willing, just only invest what you're willing to lose. And if you're buying the dip, especially if it's something that, let me show you something I'm looking at. I'm also thinking about getting into, I think it's called Safe Moon Inu. I think it's geared towards gaming. I heard about it before, but when I saw it pumping, it was too late for me to get in, because I was like, it's already done its move, and at this point it's gonna retrace at some point, and I'm not about to buy in at the top and then just be negative for however long it takes for it to return to that point. But Safe Moon Inu is one of the ones I'm also thinking about getting in, just simply going off of technicals and looking at the chart. You see this whole flat line, and then we spike up. Let me make this bigger. All right, so you see this whole flat line area, and then it finally spikes up here, and then it retraces. We're in that area I'm talking about, that 78 to 100% range, and the retracement levels. This is a good area to buy in before we go and see price push out of this and maybe even break highs. So just going based off the technicals and the hype I heard around it before, like, this might be a good investment for me to get in on. If you are interested, then that's totally up to you. But I think that's one I can see doing some big numbers. So I guess I'm calling it now. Only sad thing is it's on the Ethereum network. So that's the only bad downside to me, because the gas fees just be killing me when I'm trying to get in the market on it. But the market cap is only at $6 million. And to put that in perspective, let's see. This is way too big now. And to put that in perspective, we're not going to compare it to like Bitcoin or anything else crazy like that. But Dogecoin is at 17 billion. Shiba Inu is at 11 billion. What might be something else you guys heard of? Pancake Swap, they're down to what is this, 1 billion. Yeah, so it's definitely a possibility that even if it does get to only 1 billion. I mean, I was comparing this to like the top 50 cryptos when there's like 6,500 of them, but this one is in the top 1,200, which can easily change. So 6 million, I say like the 5 million to like $20 million range is a good area to get in because the market cap is so low and you only have so much to lose at that point. Don't get me wrong, cryptos can go to zero from those points and never return. So just find a project that you really believe in. So this is one I'm going to be researching and consider getting in on. But just going based off a whole technical analysis on the whole market, it's looking like this is a good area to buy in and that the market can continue to the upside. Like eventually, it could take a year or two, but we are obviously bearish. Like the market is obviously falling. You're blind if you say otherwise. The market is definitely falling almost every single day. Constantly getting alerts on my phone about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin, all those things losing 10%. There's days where it's 20 something percent on some of these coins. So the retracements are crazy. But I'm still in on baby Shiba and baby Dogecoin. The retracements on those I don't care about at all. I don't even look at those until they do start to pump, because the market cap is so low. I don't care if they go to zero right now before they shoot up, because I'm so close to the ground level that I'm at that flatline area. So if we do go to zero, then like the loss is what it is. But there's a lot of potential room for profit. So the risk to reward is basically great on that one. On these small market caps, ideally. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if we have anybody on the chat or anything. Yeah, it's pretty much dead right now. But this video will be up on my page if you are watching right now. Let me see. Yeah. All right, cool. And for those of you that do watch me for like Forex and stuff like that, I'm taking a small break away from day trading because I'm struggling to stay profitable on it. So yeah, I'm struggling to stay profitable and everything on it. So there's no point in me putting all this time and money into something that I'm not making money from. So it hurts as much as it hurts. I'm taking a break from day trading while I focus on cryptos. I just want to diversify my portfolio, and I recommend that all you day traders or whoever else should do the same. Have money in stocks, crypto. You can day trade. You can get in real estate. Just have many sources of income and diversify your portfolio. Something I keep saying I wanted to do long term once I start making money from the day trading, but it's realistically something I should start now. So I'm looking into everything. I'm looking into stocks, options trading, all that good stuff. But I learned a lot doing the whole day trading Forex stuff, so I'm going to use it to my advantage. Like stuff like buying and holding makes day trading look so difficult, because you're just, I guess it's easier to be patient in it when you're buying cryptos, because the market does what it's going to do, and you're only going to make a certain amount based off what you put in. So you have no choice but to wait to get those profits. So yeah, any of these cryptos you plan on getting in, if you do buy in now to any of them, make sure you notate all these levels that you're buying in at, so you can determine where you're going to get out at if you're making profits, or just remembering what you put in it. Then once you see a good amount of profits, then you can take it out. But add them all to your watch list. I think you could do it on CoinMarketCap. I get notifications every day on the top coins I'm watching. By the way, not sponsored by CoinMarketCap or anything, but you can set up a watch list and you get notifications once they start making some nice moves. But so the consensus of this is pretty much, I think you should buy the dip. Again, not financial advice, let me just say this. I plan on buying the dip of many things right now in hopes that they eventually return. I'm willing to hold these assets for like at least a year. If they're just kind of like flatlined or not doing much, I'm gonna hold them at least a year. But if I'm getting impatient, then I might move money around. But I see a lot of these things making money. Hopefully this isn't a bearish year. This is a good point for the market to reverse from. Looking at Ethereum and Bitcoin, I can see the market potentially reversing here, because this is a support level, just going based off of support and resistance, or pretty much at a support level. So it's very possible that price can just retrace off of this. You can look at this kind of like a flatlined area just when I say flat line for my traders, you know, it's as like consolidation, where price is just basically moving sideways without a breakout to the upside or top side. So pretty much flat line, and you got this big push up, and then got that deep retracement we were talking about before in this zone. And this is like the golden zone for like cryptos, it looks like. So I can see it returning from here is very possible, but looking at the larger time frame, it's very possible that it could come all the way down here. So when you're looking at these, learn how to read charts and everything, learn technical analysis. It will help you make your own decisions for things to get into or whatever. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, or if there's any other cryptos or stocks, forex, anything you want me to mark up, then we can definitely get into that. I think that's where I'm gonna close this video out. So I will be buying the dip, and yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and again, check out my socials. They're all in the description below already. Find my Instagram, my YouTube, my Discord. Discord is completely free. I'm building up a community of like day traders, options traders, all that good stuff. So in crypto, so I have people that's kind of coming from everywhere. The group is still small right now, but looking to grow that community in the next year or whatever. So yeah, make sure you give it a follow, and stay tuned for the next, and make sure you like and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in. Bye.